Welcome to WTF Stories and Advice. I'm Caroline Cranshaw.
And I'm Daryl Gove.
And we're in fucking lockdown.
Yeah, we're fucking locked down, man.
This is bullshit.
It's bullshit.
As you may be able to tell, we are a little bit frustrated with our current circumstances. We've been in lockdown for 5 days now. Probably not even, huh?
Yeah, well, we had a 2-day warning, which was kind of like semi-lockdown, and this is the 4th day of full lockdown. And, you know, it's natural and normal to get frustrated when your liberties are restricted.
Yeah, and I agree that we need to do social distancing, that we need to put some systems in place, but they've gone too far. They have taken away my online shopping, Daryl.
Oh, no.
No, I am not fucking kidding you. I am rubbable right now. I tried to order something off Amazon, and they're not delivering to New Zealand.
Yeah. That's sad. That's sad. I can feel for you there. I'm kind of lucky because I can still shop on my video game systems and buy new games and download them. But because if I couldn't shop, I don't know what I would do. I feel for you.
Oh, well, I mean, listen to me. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I don't need to buy whatever else I buy off Amazon, anything that pops into my head, basically. But I mean, you cannot order anything online in New Zealand if it's not food or if you're not an essential business. An essential business is anyone to do with food. I mean, all restaurants, though. All restaurants, all
takeaways, cafes.
Takeaways. You can't go through the drive-through of anything. I mean, not that that's the end of the world, but
vegetable shops are closed, bakeries, butchers, health food stores, all closed.
Yeah. You can't. I mean, it's insanity. My daughter's laptop screen stopped working yesterday. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we'll just order a new laptop screen. Oh, no, you can't. So then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can have it repaired. Oh, are you an essential business? No. And I think I am an essential business, being in mental health. Don't you think so?
I think so as well. I mean, people come to us that are often in a decline in their mental health and they go away in an upward spiral. Now, we know where that decline can lead to if people get worse and worse, more depressed, more anxious, to drug addiction, to suicide, to breaking up of relationships, all sorts of bad things. So we're essential for the health of the people. And we're, not considered that, of course.
No, and they're like, oh, well, you can just work online. You can still, we're not stopping you from seeing patients online. But if my computer breaks, if my phone breaks or anything like that, which is how I'm contacting and dealing with clients now, I cannot buy replacements.
And it's all very well to say, oh, you can do it online. But my last client to cancel said, well, look, there's other people in my house now 24/7 and they're going to hear me. And I don't want them to be in my therapy session, So that makes perfect sense. I understand that. So we're going to wait till the lockdown's finished to see each other.
Yeah, I've had quite a few clients cancel as well because they really enjoy the personal one-on-one experience. But in saying that, I have seen clients online for years. For like 10 years, I've been seeing people from around the world in the online sessions. So, and you do the same, don't you?
Yeah, what I really like about working online in therapy is that people get to be in their own home. And sometimes people are a little bit scared of hypnosis because they don't know what it is. Once we have a chat and they find out and use it, they love it. But people can be a little bit apprehensive sometimes. So being in their own home, I think there's a measure of safety that they feel. And also, you don't have to get dressed up to go to work. You can just I wear a polo shirt. That's as formal as I get. And then underneath, I could just be wearing pajama bottoms and nobody would know.
Yeah, I'm just going to start styling like the front of my hair. And yeah, obviously I'll wear makeup, but yeah, I mean, it's a bit more relaxed. But If you listening to this are struggling and you need emotional support, if you need someone to help you see the light at the end of the tunnel or really help you release stress, I also do a lot of work with people with planning for their business and making changes. And unfortunately, at this point, we have to change or die, right? We cannot go with the old paradigm, the old framework that we've all been kind of working from, at least for a while. So if you need support with any of those things, that feel free to contact me, feel free to contact Daryl. Our links on how to contact us is in the show notes. But we're here to support you. I'm also going to be downloading, I just need to upload a couple of guided meditations for you to listen to. If you have any you want to upload as well, Daryl, we can do that.
Yeah, I've got some that I can give you a link to that I've created. One that I did this week was to help you cope with isolation. So yeah, check that meditation out. Can I add as well, Caroline, I'm also a trained herbalist. So I've trained in how to make herbal medicine. And for people that maybe don't have access to herbs because the health shops are closed or just they can't afford to buy herbs, then contact me and I can help teach you. You can book in a session and I can take you through how to make herbs at home, how to make remedies with what you've got in your kitchen, your garden, or your local area.
That's good. Yeah, and I don't do hypnosis with everyone. Some people I do coaching. Some people I do strategizing with their business. There's all different ways we can help you. But that's enough. I just wanted to let people know that is an option for you if you need it. Or there's lots of other online systems and programs now of getting counseling, getting the help you need. But I think for now, it's really important to look after your mental health. So we're going to give you some tips on how to get through this, because I'm only on day 4 and I'm already starting to lose my fucking mind.
But you know what? After me and Caroline, we had a chat earlier. After just having a bit of a bitch, just getting it off the chest, I feel so much better. I think talking about something, naming it, is just so helpful.
Yeah, and that's a technique that we actually teach on our course, because we teach hypnotherapy together, is the name it to tame it exercise. And that is when you name whatever and you say it out loud. You don't have to say it out loud. You can shout it in your mind if it's going to be psychologically damaging to shout it to the people you're around, which is a possibility. But if you label what you're feeling, your brain actually calms down and it helps shift those emotions. So the more, what you
resist persists.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think, emotions they need to move, like emotion. It needs to move through you. And if you just stuff it down and grow a tumor or affect your immune system by not dealing with it, you're going to feel a lot worse.
I think that would be my number one piece of advice. I think you're right there, Caroline. And it's something that you can also use with the people around you. So if you want to keep a healthy relationship on whoever you're in lockdown with, then if somebody's angry, name it. It looks like you're angry right now. If they're not, then they're going to correct you. And if they are, they'll feel validated. Well, yes, I am. And it seems like you're bored or you're anxious, whatever it is, name the emotion. And either it helps you connect with the person because it validates how they're feeling, or it gives them the opportunity to correct you and say, no, actually, this is what I'm feeling. It's a cool technique. Name it to tame it, in you or with other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and people like labels. If you can put labels on how they're feeling, if they seem, you seem frustrated, you seem angry, you seem sad, and they can say, yeah, exactly, as you said. And it just helps shift it, and it brings things up to awareness. Because I think we're all just trying to get through this like insane time in our society and the world. And we need all the support we can. I used to, when I was going through my divorce, I got a pile of pillows and a baseball bat, and I would go into my closet with this pile of pillows and I would beat the living shit out of these pillows while screaming, everybody, bad label and name that I could think of. And I would feel so much better afterwards.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've never done that, but I do use my words a lot. So I'll tell people how I'm feeling and just get it out there, and then it's done. Or use music, like play a song that has the mood. But here's the key. It's not to stay in that place. like you said,
Yes.
emotion is in motion. So for me, I might listen to an angry song, follow it up with a happy song or an uplifting song, and kind of try and make a playlist to transition the mood. Whatever you do, if you're stuck in an emotion, that's when you need professional help.
Yeah, if you can't seem to shift it. But I think, like for me, I'm looking at this time as a time that I am going to take my business into another level, or a direction that I've been meaning to really focus on for a long time. Like I've really wanted to make online courses and products that will really, I do like little hypnosis recordings and I do some weight loss products, but they're not like, there's not video and there's audio and there's books and, I have wanted to do this for a very long time. And now I'm like, right, I'm going to focus all of my effort into creating these new products. Like this week, I've been doing a quit smoking product, and I'm doing videos and guided meditation recordings. And I actually have a book called How to Quit Without Feeling Like Shit, or it's The Smoking Cure on Amazon. But I think for me, I could stay home, get all depressed that some of my clients are canceling, feel angry that I can't leave the house or online shop, or I can use this time to do something amazing, to take my business in the right direction and catch up on things that I've been meaning to catch up on for a long time.
Yeah, it's like, how do you use the time that you've got? It's like, how do you see it? It could be a gift. I'm also loving it, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, I don't like that it's forced, and I don't like that there's this flu going around killing people or whatever. But what I do like is being home and being able to catch up and spend quality time with the family. And I've loved planting herbs and vegetables and getting right back into the garden. Is so therapeutic, and I'm going to love watching all these plants growing inside my house. I put cuttings into the empty beer bottles, of which there are more than usual this week. There's 4 adults in this house, and so it's been good to get a dozen beer bottles and put all different cuttings in it and watch the roots grow through the glass over the days, and then know that they're going to be planting, and I'm going to have lots of beautiful fresh food growing later.
Oh, that's a good idea. So with the cuttings, are you doing like a root hormone to get them to do that, or are you just literally putting them in?
No, I never use chemicals when I garden or any supplements. I just literally stick them in water and then stick it in the ground, and shit just grows. Like it just grows if you let it. The only thing that hinders me is insects, and so that's something I'll have to look at later when the plants are getting bigger. But you can also companion plant to help stop insects. So, for example, they put roses next to the grapevines to stop. It apparently stops aphids or whatever eats the grapes. So I went and got a cutting of a rose, and I'm going to be putting that next to the grapes.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah. What's the other tips, Caroline? I like the word tip, by the way.
You just happen to like that word?
Well, you've got just the tip for me.
Here's another just the tip. Take some zinc.
Yeah.
If you want to focus on your health and immunity, I think that zinc is one of the best things that you can take.
Zinc, definitely 100%. And another nutrient that correlates strongly with mortality and risk factors of the flu is vitamin D. And what I mean by that is the more vitamin D you've got in your body when you get the flu, the more likely you are to have a good time. The less you have, the more likely you are to have a bad time. I'm not saying it's a cure, it isn't, but we know that high levels of vitamin D in the body are really helpful. And you can get that from the sun, if the sun's strong enough, if you're in the right latitudes, or from your diet. Do some research, go to a nutritionist. But in a nutshell, that's why we used to take cod liver oil in the UK in the winter, because it had the vitamin D in it.
Yeah, very, very good tip. And vitamin C. You're a big, big advocate for vitamin C.
I love vitamin C. It's my secret weapon, and ever since I discovered how to use it in high doses safely, I've never needed antibiotics again. And I used to take antibiotics about 3 times a year for bronchitis, tonsillitis, you name it. And vitamin C has saved me from that every single time. And so I'm a big, big fan. I take lipospheric vitamin C, and I take it in very high doses if I get ill. And If I don't have that, then I use sodium ascorbate form, which are the forms that I recommend. But you need guidance if you're going to be taking more than the recommended dose from somebody who's trained.
Yeah, the one thing with vitamin C that I always warn people to be careful with is if you take vitamin C as a woman, if you take vitamin C just on its own without any bioflavonoids, you can actually lower your progesterone levels. So if you take mega doses of vitamin C without any bioflavonoids when you're pregnant, especially early pregnancy, this can drop your progesterone levels so much that it actually can induce a miscarriage. If you are taking vitamin C, make sure you take some bioflavonoids if you're a woman and you're pregnant, or if you have kind of hormonal issues, if you're having heavy bleeding or anything like that, you definitely want to make sure there's bioflavonoids to keep your progesterone levels up there.
Yeah, and I think if anybody's in ill health or they're pregnant, then they really need to take professional advice before taking any kind of herb or supplement. I mean, herbs in pregnancy in general is a no-no for most herbs. And same goes for certain foods and certain nutrients. So yeah, good advice, Caroline.
Yeah, so that's one thing with vitamin C. What else? Olive leaf, very, very good to boost your immunity.
I love olive leaf. I love the bitter taste. I love how it stimulates my digestion. I love how it cleans my liver and it's full of antioxidants. And mostly I love how it's a strong antiviral. So I've got 2 olive trees on either side of my house. So I'm going to be harvesting some leaves and making a tincture.
Good idea.
Yeah.
And I think the most important thing to focus on is the power of your mind. Telling yourself that you're in perfect health, telling yourself that your immune system can fight off anything that it comes across, that it's going to kill any virus that goes into its system instantly will make a huge difference with your immunity, with your stress levels. Because if you tell yourself, I get sick all the time, or I'm going to get this and it's going to be really bad, then your subconscious mind's going to try to make that true.
And they've actually done studies that back up what you're saying, Caroline. Have we recommended Dr. Joe Dispenza before on this podcast?
I don't know if we have.
Even if we have, I'm going to do it again. He's got a book, You Are the Placebo. And he's a guy that had his back shattered by being run over by a car. And he managed to get up and walk within 6 weeks, and within 12 weeks was back at work using the placebo effect, the power of his own mind, to heal himself. And he goes, in this book, he looks at the evidence that the way that you think changes your health outcome. So you need to be positive and confident that you can beat whatever comes your way and be relaxed about it. And you're much more likely to survive whatever comes your way.
Yeah, well, I had that terrible car accident. I'm sure I've talked about this on the podcast where I had head-on collision with a truck towing a boat and broke everything. And they told me that I would probably never walk normally, that I was going to have all kinds of issues, terrible brain injury. And I just visualized myself getting better the whole time. I didn't even really I don't think I'd ever been hypnotized at that point, but I had remembered studying this doctor at university, studying in some psych class with Milton Erickson, who brought medical hypnotherapy mainstream. And he talked about how he had healed himself of polio. So I think, if you are sick or you're coping with anything or you have other health issues, really visualize yourself in perfect health. You can't go out at the moment. So picture that. Picture your body having the antibodies to this, coronavirus, and that no matter what, you're going to be okay. And if you are sick at the moment, just imagine yourself back in perfect health. Imagine whatever needs to heal in your body. You don't have to see it perfectly, but it'll make a huge impact. They have cases of people who have died of cancer. They were told they had cancer, that they had 3 months to live. They pass away, they do an autopsy, and they never had cancer. It was a misdiagnosis.
I've read that too. That's absolutely crazy. And likewise, people that are told that they are well can recover.
Yeah, exactly.
That they're going to be fine. It's quite fascinating, the power of the mind.
Yeah. So,
and we're experts in that. If I do say so myself.
We are.
We study it, we teach it, we know it, and trust us when we tell you that your mindset is going to help you. It really is going to help your health.
Yeah. Another thing I think we should give some advice on is how to make sure your relationship with who you are living with, who you are in isolation with, if you are, how to kind of make those relationships run more smoothly. So I think that's something, because I think I'm just planning on getting tons of couples that I need to help sort out at the end of this, or probably we're getting lots of bookings for that.
Yeah, well, it's one that actually hits home. I mean, I'm at a situation where I've been dating this guy for 9 months, and we're at that point where we're, kind of talking about moving in together. But then we were very quickly given either move in together now or don't see each other for at least a month, maybe 6 weeks, maybe 2 months, maybe more. So here we are living together, and that's something that we have to manage. Living together when we perhaps weren't quite ready, not being able to go out and see our friends, not being able to be apart for at least a month. For now, we're doing great. But I can imagine other people that have issues pre-existing in their relationship, or they're even earlier on in their relationship, or don't have the communication skills that we've got, are really going to struggle.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you have a better chance of surviving cancer than making a relationship last till death do you part. I mean, it's just nuts. So, but one thing I'll come to talk to people about, and I teach my clients with relationship issues, is Dr. John Gottman's work. You know Gottman, because we teach this. So he was a psychologist, but formerly a mathematician. And when he got into counseling and psychology and starting working with couples, he found that most of the people, like most of the kind of therapies, they were just based off theory of people going, oh, well, this might work and that might work, and I'll just try these techniques and we'll just see. And he thought, well, why don't I actually study what works and what doesn't? And he would bring people to a lab, and he'd hook them up to equipment, and he would just watch them interact. And he'd ask them lots of questions about how they interact. And he now can watch a couple for 5 minutes and predict with 94% accuracy whether or not they're going to get divorced.
Wow.
Yeah. These are the things he says that you should look out for. He calls them the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
So get your pens out.
Yeah. I'll put a link into an article that I've written about this that you can read a bit more. But so the things to look out for are, number one, a harsh startup. It's the first sign that a divorce or relationship breakdown could be on the way, is how the conversation begins. Because 96% of the time, the way a discussion starts predicts how it ends. If you begin a discussion with a harsh start, acting, accusatory or negative or contemptuous, it's the conversation is going to fail. You really want to focus on being relaxed, being calm, being kind when you start your conversation, not, what the fuck is wrong with you? That's not going to work. The next one you really want to look out for is criticism. So criticism is the act of finding faults or judging someone harshly. And I mean, there's a difference between criticism and complaints, because, we're always going to have complaints about our partners. But when you start criticizing your partner, saying what they're doing is wrong, really starts to chip away at their self-esteem, makes them feel attacked, and then they're going to be defensive. They're going to be contemptuous, and contempt is the next one to really look out for. So that is contempt is a feeling of disdain or scorn, insults, name calling, but even body language and tone of voice, sneering, rolling your eyes, making faces. They say it's the worst out of all the different things to look out for, because it conveys disgust to the other person. When someone displays disgust to you, it's really going to cause the conflict to escalate. That's another one to really look out for. Do you have any tips about that? I know I'm talking the whole time.
Yeah, no, this is good. I mean, I've gone through these before. I think I've maybe talked about them in school. But they're all basic ways that humans should interact anyway. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to put that simply, it's be kind. Yeah. Just be kind. And if people aren't kind, then things aren't going to work. For tips, from my point of view, I think find a way to create space. Even if you're sharing a 1-bedroom apartment, find ways to be able to be alone when you need to be alone. For us, that looks like we've converted the garage into another room. So work can be done in there, video games can be played in there. Hell, if need be, there's a bed in there too. Somebody can sleep there. So find ways to create space and have a routine. So thinking about working from home and, you never get away from the office and you're also indoors for however many weeks. Plan your days. Like, I'm very, very lucky to be living with my sister and her husband. Each of us is getting a date night once a week. On one night, me and my partner will cook and provide a restaurant experience for my sister and her husband. And they're going to do that in return later. And
nice.
It's going to be fun, like seeing how awesome we can make it. But maybe you're living with just one person and you're worried about that. You could still take turns having a date night. Get creative. What could you do for your partner? A friend of mine, a great nutritionist, Cheryl Takayama, she had a massage night for her family. So come to mum's massage parlor and everybody gets a massage done. And then the next day it was go and get your hair styled at the daughter's hair salon. So you can plan your days and plan your weeks so that there's variety. Because even if you think, oh, I don't need to do that, trust me, you'll get bored of the same routine. Have you ever seen somebody with a broken leg that's got 6 weeks off work say, oh, I'm loving this time, I can't wait. I wish I could stay off work. No, they all want to go back. Working in holiday programs, which I did in 2009, I think, for school children age 5 to 12, I know that by the end of the school holidays, those kids were going insane, especially the ones that were indoors with us the whole time. So we had to create variety. Creating variety made all the difference, and staying the fuck away from food colorings.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good idea with like doing restaurant experience and massage. And I think that, yeah, we just need to turn off the TV and start kind of interacting, board games. But you're right, giving people space. And I think it's important to figure out how your partner, if you're with a partner, reacts to conflict. So if there's someone who wants to sort it out right away, it's not giving them the cold shoulder the whole time. But then if you're a person that needs space, it's being really clear about, okay, I need some space. Please don't talk to me for like an hour or 2 hours, and just be open about what you need. Because I know for me, I want to sort it out right away. I don't like being pissed off for ages. I mean, you really have to mess with me for me to be pissed off overnight. But other people really need like an hour to cool off, and they can't talk about it at that time.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.
And the thing is, if you are single and on your own while you're dealing with this, I would still get your ass on Tinder. Like, there is no reason why you can't be chatting to people, doing, Zoom or FaceTime with people. Like, you still need interaction. I think we're all hardwired for that. So I think finding, talk to friends you haven't talked to for years, talk to family members. Like for me, I'm talking to my family more than I have for like 10 years. It's insane.
Yeah, it's been great for me too. I'm connecting with all my family overseas, grandparents and so on in UK, brother in Spain, brother in Australia. We're playing Scrabble together online and chatting and having a laugh. It's been real nice to actually reconnect with some people.
Yeah, like reach out to people. And I think that hopefully this is all going to be over soon. Staying calm, but finding ways of connecting. And take this time to really do something that you've been meaning to do for a long time. If there's some creative, like if you always want to write a book or a story or paint or do something along those lines, now's the time to do it.
Like there's so many people that I know that want to study something, but they don't have the time. Like now is that time. Go and get an online diploma in something, anything. And for me, I've got a Spanish textbook. I'm going to brush up on my Spanish and make it even better. It's what have you always wanted to learn? Do it now. Yeah. Now's the perfect time.
Exactly. So, I mean, you look at people like Nelson Mandela, right? He was in prison for 27 years. He became like the leader of the prison. They called it like the learning camp for, future, I don't know, leaders or something in his prison, the way he would teach people, and he is so revered. But he even spent something like 6 years in solitary confinement.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But he wrote, and by the end, the prime minister or the president of South Africa was like going and consulting with him and asking him questions about this and that while he was still in prison. So I think just because you don't have control of your circumstances right now, that you're basically your freedom has been taken away, but make something amazing out of this time. You can do it, and you won't regret it. Whereas if you just watch Netflix and game for this next month or however long it's going to be, yeah, it's time wasted. And sometimes for some people, that's what they need. They actually need to do nothing. They've been doing too much for too long.
I know a few people that I'm quite happy have the opportunity to rest. They're forced to stop.
Yeah, I think for me, it's probably a good thing because I've been such a workaholic for so long. But of course, no, I'm like made myself a goal of achieving this, this, and this. But that's what makes me feel good. For me, I need to have meaning and purpose. I need to have meaning and purpose and be achieving goals for me to feel good. And I know I shouldn't like hang that on it, but not everyone's like me. But some people actually need to have some time away. I guess it's all individual, but just know this isn't going to be the end of the world. We are going to get through this. Things will get better. Hopefully with the lockdowns and controls in place, it's all going to be, disappear as quickly as it started. Did you hear about Sylvia Browne, the psychic, the prediction that she made?
No, tell me.
She was a famous psychic. I've even went and saw her speak. Probably like as a teenager in Marin County in California. She had this great smoker's voice. She used to be like on all these talk shows, but in one of her books, and I think it was like predictions for the end of the world or something, she talked about in 2020 that this weird respiratory virus was going to go across the world and infect all these people, but that it was going to, and it would cause pneumonia that was very hard to treat. But it was going to disappear as quickly as it started, that it would have a flash in the pan and then it would go away. And then she said it has another resurgence in like 10 years from now, but it would go away again.
But my mum told me that last night. She must have been reading the same thing.
Yeah, she was very good, Sylvia Browne. I mean, who knows? But I don't know. I'm going to take that one on board that, yeah, it's all going to be over soon. We're going to be really productive. We're going to find out how strong we really are.
Yeah, I guess it's a chance to reevaluate what kind of society we want to be living in, how strong we really are, and how kind we can be to those that are losing their jobs or their lives, and to our health workers. I mean, for me, one thing that I'm thinking about is we live, luckily, in the Western world. Why don't we have the ability to cope with this? And could we put money into being able to cope better with outbreaks in the future by properly funding our health service? But I guess that's political, and I should stay away from that.
Well, I think there's going to be, especially in the States that doesn't have universal free health care for everyone, that I think people are really going to see the light of how important this is and how there's got to be options for everyone to have health care. I mean, because I think with this, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to go bankrupt from getting treatment. If they have to be on life support, you know how much that costs a day? And then what are they going to do?
I don't believe that anybody should die from a flu because they can't afford it to be alive.
Yeah, I just hope they get enough respirators. But yeah. What are things that you can do to thin mucus? There's some herbs for that, isn't there?
Well, I don't know if you know cystic. I'll talk about some herbs actually, but before I do, cystic fibrosis is a disease that took a friend of mine's life. There's an overproduction of mucus in the lungs, and the lungs find it hard to clear that mucus out, which is quite similar to some of the effects that I'm hearing about this COVID virus. And one New Zealand guy figured out that he was really healthy, even though he had cystic fibrosis, and made the connection it's because he was a surfer. And the salt water was dissolving the mucus. And so he invented an inhaler, a salt water inhaler, as a treatment for cystic fibrosis. Now, I don't know how much that was picked up or if it's used, but basically steam inhalations, being safe not to burn yourself, is my number one, because steam is going to help dissolve mucus and thin it out. But there's some herbs you can take, like L-campaign, horehound, mullein, then plantain or ribwort. Then you could also do things like mint, nettle, lemon balm to support the lungs. If I have a cough, my go-to is to get some garlic and onion, chop it up in a jar, pour honey over it. I put blueberries in it too if I want it to taste nice. And then the next day, I strain it and eat the honey in a glass of hot water. Keeping yourself really hydrated by drinking lots of water, hot water is best, means that you're not going to dry out, because the role of mucus is it's not there to make you suffer. It's there to grab the pathogens and carry them out your body, encapsulates them so the pathogens don't get into your body. So mucus is there to help you. Don't think of it as the enemy, but help it to get out. Stop smoking if you're a smoker. Although, because that's not going to give your lungs a good time. It burns the little villi, the little hair-like things that move mucus up and out. So it's a good idea to stop smoking if you can. If this is a bad time for you to stop, then look at other ways to boost your immune system.
Or start to reduce. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing this week, is turning my kind of quit smoking book into a full-on kind of product, like having a session with me.
Right.
But yeah, one supplement I really recommend for that is, and this is for vaping as well, because vaping is just as bad, and they're finding they're getting kind of like some oil and kind of clogging into the lungs as well, is niacinamide, which is vitamin B3. And it locks into the nicotine receptors in your brain. So it's very, very good for quitting
vaping and smoking.
It's very good for cravings. The other thing that's really interesting, especially with smoking cigarettes, is every cigarette has a half a teaspoon of sugar.
I didn't know that.
So when you smoke, you're basically freebasing or smoking it like it's crack.
Yeah.
And so this triggers your body into releasing a kind of lot of glucose into your bloodstream. And so when you stop or you reduce, because I bet there's a lot of secret smokers out there who suddenly not able to smoke around their kids and their partner, so they'll be stressed. But a really good thing to do is to take something called chromium GTF. And it's chromium polynicolate. I mean, you can take chromium picolinate as well. But chromium GTF is a very good blood sugar balancer. It's just a mineral the reason why they call it GTF, it's actually been mixed with vitamin B3 to make it more effective. But it really stabilizes that blood sugar, because when you stop, let's say you smoke a pack a day, you are smoking 10 teaspoons of sugar. That's like a can of Coke. And so your blood sugar is going to go all over the place. And that's why people just want to eat the whole time afterwards. I don't know what about in vape juice? Do you know if it has sugar in that as well?
No, but it has propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin. And glycerin is very sweet. So I'm not sure what effect it has on the blood sugar levels, glycerin itself. But I can imagine it would have an effect. The thing about vaping is, because I used to vape, is that I would vape a lot more than I would smoke cigarettes, because it didn't clog me up or didn't make me feel sick like too many cigarettes would. So I was able to vape almost constantly. And my number one tip for coming off of vaping is never let yourself be hungry, because your blood sugar levels are going to be doing crazy things. And when you're not letting yourself be hungry, it's by eating healthy foods. Because if you're going to eat chocolate, you're going to cause more blood sugar spikes. So for me, it was about, healthy diet starts now. And you're going to really thank yourself after just a couple of days, once you shift and your blood sugars start to balance all on their own, that you ate healthy and that you stopped. Yeah.
So another thing you can do with that is have protein.
Yeah.
Protein is really going to help it. Nicotine itself also triggers this, your body releasing glucose. No matter what, if you're vaping, smoking cigarettes, you're going to really impair your body's ability to regulate your insulin. And this creates insulin resistance. That gives you high blood sugars. I mean, especially if you've got diabetes, this is terrible. But smokers really have significantly increased risks of diabetes.
It's interesting. And people think that, I'll smoke and I'll lose weight. But actually, over time, the opposite is true. It might be temporary in the beginning, but over time, if you lose your ability to regulate sugar, for example, that can lead to weight gain. And what they've found is that smokers gain weight around the middle in the unhealthy areas, like the stomach for men.
Yeah.
And that's certainly something that I witnessed myself and went away when I quit. And people are worried about quitting because they think they're going to eat too much and put on weight. Well, do you know what? You might for 5 days, but you don't have to, but you might. And if you do, that's not going to kill you. Once the cravings go away and you eat normally, you're going to be slimmer and healthier in the long run. So like, we're not here to be the fun police or to preach, but help is available. And now is a good time to think about how you want the rest of your life to be. You've got time to write down some goals and then to plan how you're going to execute them, to visualize success and to make them happen. So take that gift and run with it.
Yeah, and if you need support with quitting vaping or smoking, Daryl and I both offer services with that. But your lungs are so important, and especially with this horrible virus going around, is you want to do whatever you can to protect it. And they repair very quickly. Now is the time to stop. You can do it. We are two ex-smokers, and Daryl's an ex-smoker and vapor, so we get it. I know. I mean, I used to love smoking. It was like my favorite thing to do. People would say to me, secondhand smoke kills, and I'd be like, not fast enough. You know, it was part of who I was. But I feel so much better being a non-smoker. Like, it's day and night, and I just couldn't even imagine being one now. And especially with what's going around, it's just, that would be an extra added stress that you just don't need.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing is how much cleaner and clearer my skin is, and that I can go for a walk or a jog without coughing my lung out.
Yeah, exactly. So
cool. Well, do we have any stories or any advice that people are asking for this week? I've got a story for you. Well, it's not a story. It's a question. It's a problem. Somebody wants some advice, and I know who the perfect person is to help with this. So I'm going to bring it to you. So there's a girl in England who wrote this question to me, and let's call her Jane. Jane Doe again. Jane wrote in and says she's been dating this guy in New York and going back and forth to see each other. Recently, before the outbreak, she was over there, and he was spending a lot of time calling and texting this girl. She wondered if she should be worried, and she asked him about it, and he said, don't be silly. She's 19 anyway. She's just a kid. Now, this guy himself is in his late 20s, and the girl is about 30 or early 30s. So she, of course, Facebook stalked the girl, found out that the girl was actually older than he said, in her early 20s.
Whoop, red flag, yeah.
And the question is, should she be worried?
And the answer is yes. Done. Next question? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that's not good. That makes me feel anxious for her.
Yeah.
I mean, has he given any more clarity around this relationship or what? I mean, how does he know this girl?
The problem is that she's trying to be all modern and mature and not ask to name what the relationship is. So they haven't actually given a name to it and said we're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Ah, okay. Here's my advice, how I would handle that situation. What I would do, I mean, obviously they can't see each other for a little while, is I would start talking to other men. And I mean, if they're not exclusive, then he actually has a right to talk to whoever he wants. I mean, he has a right to talk to whoever he wants anyways. But if he's not committed, I mean, he possibly, does it sound like he's seen this other girl?
It sounds like he is when she's not there.
Yeah. I would get the 4-man plan, basically, and I would have several men on rotation, or at least be talking to several men. And that way you keep your options open. You're not going to have your heart completely broken if this guy starts seeing this other girl. But I think it's also, it's going to create, the auction effect if he knows that she's talking to other guys. And not that you need to rub his nose in it, but I think if you just get all upset and jealous and worry about who he's talking to, the relationship isn't really going to work out, is it?
No.
And it's kind of hard if she's in the UK and he's in New York. Yeah, I mean, is it really going to work? I mean, I'm one to talk because I met someone when I lived in San Francisco that lived in New Zealand, and look at me now, I'm in New Zealand. Not with that guy anymore, but it worked out for a while. Yeah, I think, I mean, either she can say, hey, this isn't if it really isn't going to work for her, then she can say, hey, this isn't going to work for me. I need someone who I'm going to be exclusive with. But if he's not trying to be exclusive with her anyways, that's a little bit of an answer, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's your answer right there. It's hard with the long distance and without establishing a rule set, that you're both, your boundaries that you're going to follow. I think what she needs to do, I think you're right, is first I would give it an opportunity and say, like, what is it that you want from this? Because, I just like things as they are, strolling along, seeing other people. Well, is that going to work for you? Maybe yes, maybe no. And it sounds like no. And if it isn't going to work, then you got to move on. And the best way to do that is to date other people. Obviously, you can't see them in person right now in the UK. They have a lockdown. But you can jump on Tinder, you can go on online dating, and
you still can talk.
You can still talk and flirt and have people tell you you're pretty or funny or whatever it is and feel good. And then realizing that no matter how much it seems that he is not your whole world, you're going to be better able to cope if things don't work out.
A book that really helped me with this topic, because I definitely dated some guys that were dating other women, and most of the time I tell them to go fuck themselves, basically, and in exactly that language. It's a book called The 4-Man Plan: A Romantic Science by Cindy Lou, which is Cindy, just Cindy, Lou, which is Lu. And she really gets into the science of dating 4 different men. You're not supposed to sleep with 4 different men, but you have one who's like, you call him like your 3.5 man, who's like honest and loving and has been accepted into a monogamous relationship. But then you can have like your quarter man who has contact but no more than 2 dates. I mean, she goes into this whole science about it, but it's really that whole circular dating, or dating quite a few people, just to keep your options open. And I think then you're having fun and your energy is not all focused on one guy and what's he doing, or, one girl. And this way, I think it just kind of lightens it. I think the problem in this day and age, though, is everyone is doing that in some way, right? Like there's too many choices.
Well, that's the problem. Like, we know from supermarket science that if we put 6 options of a product, then we're going to maximize sales. If we have 2 options, people buy less. If we have 6 options, people buy more. If we put 20 options, people don't buy it. It's too much. So on Tinder, for example, there is too much choice. And that's going to stop people from choosing because, maybe there's someone better around the corner on the next swipe.
Yeah, and it's hard. But I think when you meet the right person, things just click. I just wouldn't hang around for a guy hoping he's going to commit to me. If it's been more than 2 years, it's one thing if you live together. But if you're not living together, the guy's refusing to commit, he's seeing other people, or the girl, then it's not going to go anywhere. Anyways, they're not feeling you and maybe it's their own issues. A lot of people don't want to commit. A lot of people are emotionally damaged and need some therapy, and you don't want to date those people anyways.
And if he doesn't want to commit, then that's fine for him, his choice. But then if you want commitment, you got to move on. To find somebody that's looking for what you've got.
Yeah, exactly.
And wants to keep it.
And make that list of your perfect guy. I think that's a really good thing too, as well.
Do you know, Caroline, I made the list of my perfect guy about 10 months ago. And what I did is I went through all of my exes, and I was like, there was something about them that I liked. What did I like most about them? And that's how I constructed this perfect guy. I went through that person's sense of humor, that person's intelligence, that person's looks, and I went and constructed this image, a new imago of the perfect guy in my head. And I did it as I was driving for a night out in the city. And when I saw that guy, I went up to him and kissed him before I even spoke to him, and we're still together.
That's good.
That's a true story. So those lists are good because what you focus on is what you find. If you make a list for what you want in life, your unconscious looks for ways to make that happen. And my unconscious mind immediately spotted what I was looking for.
At least physically. But hey, it happened to work out for you.
Yeah, but I think you can tell a lot from somebody's eyes as well. Just the way that they look at you, or their body language. And the looks definitely is my dream guy. But that would only get you one date, right? If you want something that's going to last or something that's more rich, then you need to have similar values, for example, or at least be open to other values, to good communication and all that kind of stuff. And so, it goes for everything in life. It's like, if you want a really awesome online job, then write down, what does that look like? What does it look like to do therapy online? Or if you're taking your sewing business online, what does that look like, a successful online sewing business? Write it down, and your unconscious starts working and making, when you sleep, your unconscious mind takes whatever you've thought about that day and compares it to the whole rest of your life. And it finds associations that you cannot consciously think of. And that's where inspiration comes from. So get it down on paper.
That's a good idea. There's another good one I recommend, another book for I'm thinking of your friend, is He's Just Not That Into You by Greg Bernhardt and Liz.
Yeah.
I can't even say it. But look up He's Just Not That Into You. I know they made a movie about it, but the book is fantastic.
Well, I will recommend that, actually. Another piece of advice I got from you, Caroline, to give to her. I remember you maybe said it on a podcast or on your radio show, and I said to her, look, did you ever see that movie when the guy was overseas and he was seeing somebody else in between and wouldn't commit? She's like, no, I haven't seen that movie. I'm like, yeah, do you know why? Because that's a shit movie. Nobody would watch that movie. And then she goes, oh my God, my life's a shit movie. I was like, oh shit, what have I done? She's like, no, but I need to change it. I want to be in a good movie. I was like, exactly. yeah, you need to be in a good movie. So make it a good movie. And if it's not good, ditch it.
I did say that on the radio. I think it was if someone had called in or something. I said, God, that reminds me of that movie where blah, blah, blah just fed back their thing. And then it was, remember that? And they're like, no. And I'm like, neither do I, because no one would make that movie. That movie sucks. And I mean this in the kindest way. I've starred in some pretty shitty movies of my own. Oh my God. But you are the screenwriter of your life, and you're the director and you're the producer, and you can change it. Yeah, like you said, write a new story and refuse to allow any of those scenes that you don't want in anymore. You can't do anything about the past, but you can change the future.
And I think it's a good idea going forward with your life to write down your bottom line core values. For example, is exclusive to me. It might be one of those values. Or messages me without me having to prompt. It might be one of them. Whatever it is for you that you're looking for in a relationship that you're just not going to be happy without, write it down and don't let that slide.
Don't have a micro penis. That's another one I recommend putting on your list.
Don't have a micro penis.
Or doesn't have we'll say good sized penis or nice penis, but not a micro penis, because I just feel terrible for guys who have one. But anyways, I digress. Maybe we've talked enough, Daryl.
I think so. When we start talking about micro penises, that's usually time to go. Although, what's that TV show and the guy's got a micro penis?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Yeah. Who would watch that show? It's a shit show.
Except for The Hangover 2, wasn't it? Where he's got the little penis. Chang, maybe that's it. Yeah. And that was his real penis.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's his real penis. But I'm sure it gets a lot bigger when it's hard.
Erect.
He's a grower, not a shower.
Yeah. Well, I've had guys claim to be that, and it was not the case.
Yeah, same. Can't make butter with a toothpick.
Sorry, take it back.
Okay. Sorry. Well, I don't smoke. That's something you can say. Anyways, okay, I think we've digressed a little bit too much. But stay safe, stay healthy, look after yourself. We're going to be doing lots more podcasts because we can't fucking leave the house. So write to us for any advice you need, any questions you have, any topics that you want us to cover. We're here, we're stuck. And so we are your captive advice givers, or whatever you want to call it.
Cool. Well, have a good week, guys. And I look forward to more stories and advice with Caroline soon.
Yeah, sounds good. All right. Bye.
Bye.